Yo, welcome back. The Pregame Sports Podcast, episode 6, numero 6. Can you believe it's 6 episodes? You kidding me?
We're going strong.
We're going strong. We are going hard in the paint. Already 6 weeks in. I'm Kevin Towle. I got the same squad with me today. They call him the Archduke. His name's Spencer Pearlman. Have no fear, Dullo is here, a.k.a. Abdul Koroma. We got Puppy Chow in the house. Kevin Chow. Puppy Chow is in the building. And, of course, the mayor, Josh Tambor, joining us via mobile telephone from his car. Unfortunately, he only has about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Senor Tambor going on the date tonight. He could not wait until Valentine's Day. He had to get it out of the way. Tambor, the thought of you on a date is pretty funny. You know what I mean? Because, that conversation could range from economics
to
Vietnam to the stock market to, what you had in your marinade for chicken last night. You know what I mean? That's just the type of guy you are. You do so many things. You're a well-rounded guy. She must be a lucky girl. She really must be a lucky girl.
I certainly hope so. I'm not going to bring up my Vietnam War stories with her right there.
Well, listen, I hope you enjoy it. He's going to Hoboken tonight. Are you taking her Italian? What are you doing?
I haven't thought that yet. Well, I'm going to have to yet.
Game time decision. Oh, this guy. All right. Tambor going to the game time decision. You know what? He is giving the podcast his concentration right now. I appreciate that. We have a big show today. We got the All-Star game here in New York. Celebrities are in town. NBA stars in town. KD and James Harden were at the Stock Exchange. Future Knicks player, maybe. They were chilling at the Stock Exchange today. I can't think of anything better. Wall Street basketball. Can you think of anything better than that? Amazing.
Wall Street basketball.
Amazing. We got some college hoops to talk about. Kentucky barely getting by LSU. We'll have our thoughts on that. Canes basketball again. What are you going to do about that one? There's some NFL offseason moves. The NFL hasn't slowed down a bit. The season may be over, but we have a lot to talk about. And finally, we will talk exclusively just about Miami football and what in the world is going down in Coral Gables. And, of course, we'll have our personality segment. So stay with us. We have a good one.
Now, it's here. The excitement, the adventure of a new force at breakfast.
We'll call them C-3POs.
New C-3PO cereal from Kellogg's. Twin rings, phase together. For 2 crunches in every double O. A delicious part of this nutritious breakfast. Now you can experience the taste of Kellogg's C-3POs. A crunchy new force at breakfast.
May the force be with you.
We got a lot to talk about with the NBA. Like I said, All-Star game in town. We're going to talk about who we think is going to win the events. We'll talk, who's the biggest surprise when it comes to players and teams. We can't have a show without talking about the dreadful New York Knicks. They are now 10-43, 10 wins and 43 losses. That's a league worst at the All-Star break. Spencer, what are we supposed to think now? Talk to me.
So if they end up with the worst record, they're going to be guaranteed a top 5 pick, which means that they basically cannot screw it up. They're going to either get D'Angelo Russell, Jahlil Okafor, Karl Towns probably, although there are a couple other players who I wouldn't mind them getting. Willie Cauley-Stein is garbage, and he would not do well in the triangle. But you can either think of it as them having the worst record, or you can think about it as them having 10 wins in the last, 2.5 months. So
progress.
Yeah.
Slowly. A lot of upside, though. The future is brighter for them, and we talked about this before, but the future is brighter for them than a lot of other teams. We were going to talk about this a little bit later in this segment, but I wanted to bring it up. So it's looking like Melo is questionable for the All-Star game, but the big thing is he doesn't want to shut it down, Abdul, but should he? And it's looking like he will. As a Knicks fan, are you relieved? Are you upset? Talk to me.
I think that, the All-Star game being in New York, he's got to play and, show up for his hometown.
You got to play. You got to show up.
Not sure for the fans, at least paying that much money to, see him pretty much. But for Knicks fans in the future, it's all about the future. You got 4 years committed, still, I think it's $98 million over those 4 years.
I stand knee. Ice it up.
You gotta think about what's good for you. Think about what's good for your health. Especially he bangs inside a lot, but a big combo forward who can bang inside. It's gonna be a lot more wear and tear. You don't want to like Kobe now. You see Kobe's body's just breaking down.
Sorry to interrupt. You hear about the Karl Malone Kobe?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
I didn't even know that
Hilarious.
was going on.
Unreal.
I didn't know that was going on.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, he's got to be healthy, But the thing is, when he doesn't play,
we're on 13.
They're
We're on
not gonna
13
win.
without him playing.
Yeah.
So we gotta get him back healthy.
It's going to be ugly. Tambor, wanted to hear your thoughts. The owner of the Knicks, James Dolan, in the news. He didn't mean to publicly do it. What he forgot is that it's very easy to post anything on social media these days. His very angry response to a fan via email. Are you okay with it? Do you not care, or do you think it was wrong?
The same group of people who are trying to find Johnny Ipsick or fire Johnny Ipsick are now trying to fire James Dolan. And frankly, good riddance to James Dolan. He hasn't done anything he should have done a long time ago. I know people may disagree with me after his one good season, but honestly, I can't stand guys who make public presence like that. Look, even for a Spanish Mark Cuban public presence can be, at least he's half decent individual and probably worth more money than James Dolan. If you kick him the bird and him and Germany stick not good together.
Spence, rebuttal.
No, it's not a rebuttal. I don't think.
I thought you disagreed.
No, I didn't really understand much of what you said.
Connection's not great. Sorry, folks.
Yeah,
anyway,
but I want to say that, like, from my point of view, if you send a douchebag email to a owner of like a multi-billion-dollar corporation, Cablevision and Optum, whatever he owns, Cablevision.
same company, subsidiary.
Yeah. The guy should have expected an email in return. Dolan's from New York. David Stern actually said when you send an email like that to a New Yorker, you're going to get a New York-like email in response.
It's true.
Which I
That's
think
a good point.
And apparently the two people who have done this aren't like the classiest of people.
But I think this whole thing's like massively overblown.
Yeah.
It's just
it's like it's a little bit easy fodder.
I think we lost Tambor.
Bye-bye.
He is officially, he said, gonna drop, connection blows. Well, Tambor, we thank you for the 5 minutes. He did get a comment in, and man, he's gonna be yippity-yakking that girl, man. He's gonna be talking her off all night. She's not gonna get a word in edgewise on that date. Anyway, love you, Tambor. Anyway, back to the Knicks. Thoughts and prayers with Anthony Mason, who apparently is fighting for his life, although his things are a little bit more stable. But very famous member of the '94 Knicks. That guy was a monster.
He's a do-it-all forward.
Yep.
He epitomized those Pat Riley Knicks, man. Granted, I was young, but I miss the idea of playing physical basketball, tough, no nonsense.
New York basketball.
It's just that those were the days. When you bring up Anthony Mason, first we want to shout out to his son Antoine, who plays at Auburn, transferred from Niagara. Spencer, it's inevitable, so go ahead, talk about it.
You take you back to senior year of high school. This was 2000. It was either late
2009.
Yeah, so it was during 2008-2009 basketball season. Our basketball team was without arguably its most important player, yours truly.
Sorry, cough. Anyway, continue.
But we were losing, and Antoine Mason was driving down the lane. Kevin was trying to take one for the team. He was trying to take a charge. And, I always thought, if you try to take a charge, if you get dunked on, if you try blocking a shot, if you get dunked on, more credit to you because, you're actually doing something that most people wouldn't do. But Kevin didn't only get dunked on, he got stepped on. Antoine Mason's foot was on his chest. And we lost.
Listen, I was playing on the top of a 2-3 zone. The guy playing the bottom left, who knows where he was? It's probably Goodman or something. Goodman wasn't there.
I was out with an ankle injury, and our coach said if I played, we would have won. Just throwing that out
That's
there.
his claim to fame.
Yep.
And no, it was guarding the baselines. I'm not going to let this guy just dunk uncontested. And instead, he dunked on me. It happens. Anyway, we digress. Let's talk about some teams in addition to the Knicks who are garbage. First thing that comes to mind, the Lakers. I can't even recognize this team anymore. Ryan Kelly is dropping surprisingly, he's dropping lately. I think he had a 20-point game that night. But you have issues when Ryan Kelly is your offense. So the Lakers are in trouble. Spence, I want to ask you though, what's a bigger surprise? The Atlanta Hawks being the 1 seed currently, or the Milwaukee Bucks somehow staying in the hunt in the 6th seed without Jabari Parker. I mean, I wouldn't say that's not a star-studded team, but they're very, very respectable. Are you surprised about that?
I'm surprised that they're all right. So they had 15 wins all last year. They're at what, 30 wins right now?
Yeah, it's a complete turnaround. Jason Kidd.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just because that team is talented. Their talented team was just completely underperformed last year, whereas the Hawks were what everyone thought. Like they were a meddling treadmill team, like a 6 to 8 team. Like I thought the Knicks would be fighting for a playoff seed with them, and now you have them as Spurs East. So I actually think that's more impressive. I think it's the bigger surprise.
I can't disagree with you there. Abdul, an interesting story out of Sacramento. Kings hiring George Karl, the ever famous George Karl, but Boogie Cousins isn't happy about it.
See, like, at the end of the day, this goes down back to his maturity level, which has been, questioned all the way back to Kentucky.
He's improved.
He has improved.
And he just wants to win.
The main thing about it, though, that I would say that this falls back on ownership. Why would you consult your consult your star, say we're not going to hire Karl, then go back on the word and not tell him about it, and then he learns about it randomly that you're changing your mind like every other 2 weeks about it.
Right.
Alienating him. Which is good for the Knicks, because,
right. Well, that's the thing. Spence, you brought this up. Is there opportunity here?
If the Knicks get a top 5 pick, and if we all...
I would shop it.
Get rid of it.
But for Cousins,
Absolutely.
I'm 100% taking it.
Absolutely.
I have seen very few players who legitimately want to win more than Cousins. He's a big baby, but...
You know what? Like, I do not see Karl Towns or Okafor having that same impact as Cousins.
24, 13, 4, 6.
No way. That would be a very ideal scenario. Real quick, Spence isn't happy about me mentioning this, but I had to shout out to Tyler Johnson.
He's irrelevant.
He's irrelevant, but it's a great story. Guy for Fresno State. Like, who plays basketball at Fresno State?
Paul George.
Besides him. Good point.
Who's another big guy?
Point is that it's a great story. He signed up for the rest of the year. My buddy Joe Begerstein, who's an NBA.com Heat beat writer, wrote a great story on Tyler Johnson's, whole process of going into the NBA. So definitely take a look. Joe Begerstein, NBA.com. We gotta move on here, but when we come back, we're gonna talk about Sir Charles Barkley and his feelings on basketball analytics. Do the Cavs have enough to continue the momentum? And who's going to win the All-Star game? Stay with us.
Cloverstone are clams! He's escaping in the Viper glider! Joe, catch him!
It's the G.I. Joe Falcon glider, flying high in the sky, sailing through the air. He's America's fighter. G.I. Joe can fly. He's a real American hero, flying high in the sky. He's chasing Cobra in a desperate race, soaring and diving in a great sky chase.
You did it, Joe!
G.I. Joe Falcon glider and Cobra Viper glider sold separately. Figures included from Hasbro.
So there's been a big story coming out of TNT and Sir Charles Barkley. He hates basketball analytics. Now, baseball obviously has always been the stat game. It's always been the nerd game. You look at guys like the guy from Moneyball, Jonah Hill's character. Like, it's always been a numbers game. But basketball is very quickly, you could argue just as quote-unquote analytical as baseball. I mean, it's that important. You look at college teams, you look at the San Antonio Spurs, very much a part of an everyday major basketball program, whether college or professional. And Charles hates it. He thinks that they're, what was his quote, Spence? It was like, all the guys who do it are fat and don't get girls. Like, I mean, maybe he's right about that. But at the end of the day, analytics are important. Spence, if Barkley came up to you and said the same thing to you about analytics not being useful, how would you respond?
I'd say he has no idea what he's talking about. Like, I worked directly with them when I was working a couple summers ago for the Tulsa Shock. So I know you need analytics in conjunction with actually watching game film, but to say that it's stupid and has no place in the NBA is just like asinine. Like, look at the Spurs, look at the Hawks, look at what Miami did with LeBron. Like, every basketball team uses analytics in at least some way, whether it's finding like the most efficient shots, like a long three-pointer, or not a long three-pointer, a three-pointer is worth more than the long two because points per shot.
Yes.
like what the Houston's doing, even though it might not be the most aesthetically pleasing basketball, like James Harden going into the paint, all free throws and threes, it gets results. Like his team right now is James Harden and 4 role players, and that team would not be the same without analytics.
No, I mean, obviously bias on my part, but University of Miami basketball, Coach Larinaga swears by it. That's part of their everyday game plan. Even the college teams, live and die by these metrics. Abdul, you have any thoughts?
I think it's like Mark Cuban made a really good point. It's like back when he first came into the Mavericks position, it's like only a few teams were using it, and it was such an advantage. Mm-hmm. And you saw like certain teams be able to keep up with other teams just through this pretty much. But now, because I think every single team uses analytics. Every single, and it like really changes players. I mean, you see LeBron's a prime example. Before he hits Miami, he's not nearly half the player he is because he's getting closer to the basket because Spoelstra's like taking the stats, more efficient shots, less long range twos, which that's not what he's good at, and it made him a more efficient player based surely on stats.
No, you're absolutely right. So. And even there's a real big business from basketball analytics. There are guys like Justin Zormello, who is essentially a private basketball trainer. He utilizes one-on-one working out training for NBA athletes, but he also uses game film to help them improve their game. And Kevin Durant is his biggest client, and he actually worked out a lot at the University of Miami facility. So I got a chance to meet Justin Zormello a bunch of times, and just by using analytics and using what they got from their analysis and putting that into the practice court and working on those areas of his game, he got significantly better, which is hard to imagine with KD, right? But KD got significantly better over just one season, mainly because of analytics. Obviously, the hard work aspect, but can't forget about analytics there. So you guys bring up a very, very good point. Next thing with the NBA, the Cavs, man. We were talking about it last week a little bit, but now we're at the All-Star break. There were some scares. There's no doubt about it. People were freaking out. We were the first to knock Blatt.
Not me.
Not you. But, do you fully expect this team to be the king of the hill in the East?
Yeah, I said in the beginning of the year, this is the team. I thought the Bulls and I thought the Cavs were the 2 best teams in the East. Now, obviously, you're adding the Hawks in there. But when the Cavs are playing as well as they can play, what team can stop 3 guys who can score 40 points on any given night? Like, nobody can do it. Right, and then you have J.R. Smith jacking 8 threes a game, making 3 of them 37-38%. All right, that's not terrible. You have Shumpert coming in. He's finally just able to play within himself.
Good on-ball defender.
And the defensive impact of Mozgov.
Yeah, Mozgov has been huge.
Honestly, it's so frustrating to see Mozgov just dominating it when he wasn't bad for the Knicks, but like, God, like it just happens all the time.
We knew he was a project. We knew that, but we shipped him off.
The upside's still there. He still has a lot of he's still pretty raw.
26.
He outplayed Noah last night. You could pretty much
unbelievable. And it's funny. They are better off without Waiters. Waiters was a big cancer to that team. You said it best.
The funny thing is that Waiters was complaining about how he wasn't getting the ball. Now he's in
you don't need the ball.
But now he's in Oklahoma City, and he's actually holding the ball for fewer seconds per game than he was in Cleveland.
Actually, I did not know. That's very good. Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't think KD's gonna let him mess around. That team, they're making moves for that last spot in the West. Let's talk about the All-Star game. We had talked about the lineups when they were first announced a few weeks ago, but some changes. Kyle Korver replacing Dwayne Wade, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Lillard now in the All-Star game, which I think was deserving. Should have been there from the get-go. But now people are saying that it was DeAndre Jordan snubbed. Spence, what do you think?
I don't think so.
No way.
I mean, I wanted to talk about it because it's an interesting thing. He's leading the league and shooting 73%. Well, his field goal percentage is 73%.
Yeah.
He's not.
He takes a lot of high percentage shots.
Yeah. Leading the league in rebounding, I think he's up there in blocks too. So he's doing his role. But would you give Tyson Chandler an All-Star game when you have other guys like Damian Lillard putting up better stats on better teams?
I think the NBA got it right. I think they did. Abdul,
absolutely.
thoughts?
I mean, a big idea. The biggest thought of this was like he missed that game where he was like 6 of 26 from the free throw line.
That was brutal.
That's
he took more free throws than he had points and rebounds.
It's ridiculous.
You know what it is? We weren't planning on talking about this, but it just came to my mind now. Like, if you're a Dwight Howard, if you're a DeAndre Jordan, and you cannot shoot free throws to save your life, do you even entertain the Rick Barry underhand? Like, do you even entertain that idea?
These guys have too much of an ego to ever do
Yeah.
something like that.
I mean, you should
Straight
do it,
boils
but yeah.
down.
Why? I mean, you got at some point you got to think about it, right? And Shaq never did it. A lot of it's like even Will Chamberlain, right? Like he was terrible. They say his hands were these hands are too big
but
for the basketball.
So are Kawhi Leonard's and Rondo. Well, Rondo's a bad example, but Leonard has the biggest hands in the NBA, and he's still shooting in this.
No, it's true, but it's funny. You would think that after a while, if nothing's working,
Might as well
think
go
about think about how much their stats would go up if they had, if they shot
Ego.
70% instead of 40.
No, it really does.
You know what I mean? It's
But why not try
unbelievable.
shooting righty then?
That too.
Like
I mean, just
Tristan Thompson
switch it up
did.
somehow. I mean,
Tristan Thompson did
these
that.
guys are missing it like crazy. Anyway, let's quickly talk about the All-Star game. East West. That's the Sunday night
Yes, sir.
game.
Sunday night,
Who do you like? I mean, no one really cares. Obviously, it's just a way for guys to show off their skills. But any direction you're leaning, East West, you stay East because you're an East Coast guy. Any thoughts?
I mean, like it's just going to be an ISO showcase.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all it's going to be. I mean, so
It's like 174 to like
got the better shoot.
173.
It's going to be whoever got the better
that.
shooters pretty much going off. So maybe Splash Bros, Splash Time.
I'm thinking West because they could put out Curry, Thompson, Durant,
They're gonna go off.
Dirk, and
Harden too.
they could have Dirk
Harden,
at center. They
yeah.
could put just small ball. That'd be crazy.
And
It's a
then
5-guy out offense.
that's true. Oh gosh, that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah.
So I think the consensus, even though I'm going to root for the USA being American, I think the world has the slight edge over the USA for it was the rookie sophomore game. It's now the USA versus world. I think everybody agrees that the world will probably win that one. Dunk contest. Yeah, I mean,
that rolls into that's another ego thing for me. The reason why these guys don't do it, I swear to God, is because they don't want to lose.
Yep.
And it's like it's sad because how many guys how many greats have lost?
KD and LeBron just go out and do it and just dominate.
KD, I wouldn't see KD. I want to see LeBron.
Just LeBron. Sack up and freaking go and play in the dunk contest. Every great's done it. You should do it too. Unbelievable.
Plumlee and Giannis have no reason to be there.
Giannis is the worst.
Yeah, Giannis, he's a long
no
arm.
elevation at all.
Yeah.
Plumlee, that's just desperation on the NBA's part. It's like,
Throwing it out.
I mean,
At least get
who
Wiggins.
knows what's gonna happen with that?
Yeah, no.
A. Wiggins would be sick.
At least.
So it's looking like from the pregame podcast, it's looking like the West, the world, and Levine will win in the All-Star festivities.
Now the main event of the All-Star festivities, 3-point contest.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're talking about the skills challenge, you want to see Pat Beverly try
Oh
to
yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Why Derrick Rose is not in the skills challenge is just
Isaiah Thomas is going to win
that
the
just
skills
makes I don't
challenge.
understand that.
That's my bet.
What's the 3-point? Who's the leader for 3-point? Clay?
It's Korver.
Korver? Oh, he's gonna do
percentage. It's Korver.
But it's who is it like in the All-Star game?
Korver,
It's
Thompson,
Matthews,
Curry,
JJ.
This could be the best lineup in a while.
Bellinelli, yeah.
This could be one of the better lineups.
Maybe best ever.
It's stacked.
Yeah.
It's like 80s Larry Bird-esque.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Who do you think wins that one? I mean, it's
I
stacked.
think it's Matthews or Korver. Matthews he's actually
Over the Splash Bros though.
He's alright. So it's not about shooting off the dribble, which is what those guys are great at.
It's
catching
yeah.
and shooting, and those two had the highest open 3-point shot percentage in the NBA. Both of them are like 52%, whereas
That's
everyone
true.
else is in like the mid 40s.
I think
That's a
it's
good
easy
point.
Korver, especially like just catching and shooting. His form is just the same every single time.
Good for Korver. Like
50,
people
90.
thought he sort of like plateaued in his career, and he's been killing it this year in the All-Star game and in the 3-point
It's a
contest.
historic shooting season. Like he is the highest true shooting percentage for anybody in NBA history by far, and he is a 6'6" guy who doesn't do anything besides shoot threes, essentially.
You know
It's
what?
nuts.
And he's played a big role in the success of the Atlanta Hawks. No doubt about that.
All-Star deserves it.
Actions, I think it's all on TNT if I'm not mistaken.
There's also a fashion show Saturday night for those.
Can't wait for that.
Cannot wait for that. So yeah, I mean, New York City's hustling with a ton of events going on. That's kind of cool, but same time, like the Knicks and Brooklyn Nets aren't that good, so I don't think the city is as excited as it usually was in the past when they had it. I think it was in '97. The city was just going crazy. I remember it was Tim Duncan and Keith Van Horn Talk about a throwback in the rookie-sophomore game. We have a lot more to talk about in the rest of the show. Our next segment is college hoops. Two great coaching legends sadly passed away. We couldn't have the pregame podcast without talking some college hoops. We want to start it off. Very sad news in the world of college basketball. Ironically, in the same week, which is a little spooky if you ask me, coaching legends Dean Smith of Carolina and Jerry the Shark Tarkanian of UNLV and a brief stint at Fresno State passed away. Both were well into their early 80s, if I'm not mistaken. But it's sad news. Both were absolute pioneers in the sport. Dean Smith, obviously coaching the likes of a Michael Jordan, James Worthy, and then he brought in the Vince Carters, the Jerry Stackhouses of the world. He went to 11 Final Fours,
11, yeah.
but he only won 2 national titles. But obviously, when you think of best college basketball coaches, yeah, I mean, he's in the conversation 100% for best college coach of all time. So, especially with Roy Williams, the current UNC coach, having coached alongside him for a number of years, definitely going to be, very tough on him. But I can see this being like a, I'm a superstitious guy. I can see this being sort of a motivator for this UNC team. They're 12th in the nation. I can see them kind of rallying behind the old Dean Smith and maybe making some noise. And then the Shark, Jerry Tarkanian, known for coaching the 1991 national title team, which had Larry Johnson, who Abdul and I had the pleasure of meeting a few months ago at the Garden. Great guy. And they had Greg Anthony on that squad. Those guys
recently arrested for the prostitution.
Yes, him and
Mike's hookers.
Yeah,
Warren Sapp.
Warren Sapp too. We talked about that last week, but that team revolutionized college basketball.
Really
I mean, Abdul, you said it. Like he was like what Howard Schnellenberger did to
really.
Football is what Tarkanian did.
Especially with the UNLV program that had little to no success before he even turned up.
Zero.
It was like a nothing program. But him being able to go into, he had a reach throughout America. I mean,
Right.
I remember Jalen Rose was on ESPN earlier this week talking about his reach. I mean, Jalen ended up going obviously Fab Five Michigan, but like,
Can you imagine if he went to UNLV?
oh my God! But even being able to go as far to Detroit, especially
Right.
at like Cass Tech, these like high school powerhouses
Right.
that are completely African American schools, but being able to have the reach that far, it really showed the type of person he was to be able to relate to anybody from any background.
Yeah, I mean, I think all the players loved playing for him, and
the 30 for 30 is great.
yeah, he's just a remarkable guy. He's called the Shark. He battled the NCAA for 11 years, and then they eventually ruled that he was not given due process, if I'm not mistaken. I hope that's the correct legal term. I have my 2 lawyers with me. But, it's funny. He once said, there was a story that I heard that he was at a book signing, and one fan was sort of, sympathizing with him with this battle over the NCAA. And Tarkanian goes and turns his head to the fan and says something along the lines of like, the NCAA is no better than the New Jersey mob. I mean, and he's right. I mean, there are so many tyrants there. I said it last week. You heard my spiel on that, but from just that perspective, forget basketball. Just the fact that he stuck up for himself and his kids and took on a corrupt organization. You got to give him props for that. But thoughts and prayers with the Tarkanian Smith family for sure. Want to talk Kentucky here. We got to talk about them, right? They're the number 1 team in the nation. They haven't lost. They barely got by LSU. Spence, you watched that game. What was going through your mind there? There was a point where you thought they were going to lose. I remember.
Yeah, I mean, I think the game should have gone to overtime, but the LSU coach drew up probably one of the worst plays.
Awful.
So you're down
Was
2.
it a play?
What?
Was it even a play?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I assume it was because he had the guy coming off a screen.
Yeah.
So if anything, it was a
Complete
basic
breakdown,
one.
yeah.
But you don't take a falling
Poor
away,
coaching.
a fading away 3-pointer with a 6'5" guy with a 6'11", 6'10" wingspan in your face with 3 seconds left without giving your team another shot to get the rebound. That was just terrible. But I don't know. I mean, like I said from the beginning, Kentucky is flawed. I think they can be beat. I thought LSU actually had a chance, and they almost did it.
You know what I actually thought was that this was a huge game for Carlton Towns.
That step back jumper.
Because him making a mistake,
really good.
making a mistake that nearly cost his team with the technical,
Right.
like hanging on the rim and being able to come back and making that huge
Right.
jump shot. They're making that huge fadeaway shot like right before to take the lead.
He's getting better every
And
game.
he's hitting his stride. He's hitting his stride heavily.
He had a beautiful move. He bodied a guy down and a beautiful righty hook shot.
Yeah.
If he can incorporate that in his everyday game, that hook shot.
Well, he has the hook shot. He has,
but like consistently,
Yeah.
like that could be brutal, man.
I mean,
like, that could be.
he's got
You're
the
talking
jump.
about a 6'11" guy with a 7'4" wingspan.
This guy's a
right?
freak.
Ridiculous.
Absolute freak, and it's the scary
With
thing
a
is
jumper, too.
so
Jumpers
much
are
upside.
huge.
It's
Yeah,
unreal. That's
unreal.
why. If you're a Nick team, you're like, maybe I'll go with him instead of Oakford. That's a conversation for another time.
It's actually it's pretty cool because he's really hard to work with. He had I think he had a 4.0 GPA in high school.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow,
He
good for him.
I think he was the
Smart guy, too.
valedictorian in his class.
That's awesome. Good for him. I mean, Spencer, you were talking about that they're flawed. So upcoming schedule: home against South Carolina, not a great team.
Nope.
On the road at Tennessee, which is they may not be a great team, but not it's like LSU, not an easy place to play. It'd be
Nope.
interesting to see how they respond to
They
that
don't-
home court advantage at
They don't
Tennessee.
have the LSU Jordan Mickey though.
That's true.
He was a huge.
That is true.
impact. He-
They have size. LSU
And
has some
Martin
size.
to get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
too.
If they get in, which I think they probably will be one of the last. I mean, I think they get in. Yeah, I don't want to play LSU in the
No, that
first
team
round.
plays angry.
No, and then I think they blow out Auburn at home.
Yeah.
So
Who knows? Maybe.
maybe Antoine Mason will,
Yeah, maybe
will do what he
dump
did to
someone
maybe
else.
to somebody else. Real quick, I gotta talk about Miami. Nice win against Clemson at home on Shane Larkin bobblehead night, along with desserts and dunks night. You know how I feel about that promo. Then they go to Winston-Salem and lose a heartbreaker at a Wake Forest. I mean, absolute heartbreaker. Angel Rodriguez drives to the lane, misses the layup that would have sent it to overtime. It just comes down to inconsistency. I still believe in this team. I'm still going to ride with this team. I still think they'll somehow sneak in. But right now, the bubble is almost burst. They play Sunday at BC, which should be a win. They're pretty bad. 6:30 ESPNU. You got to win every game. You got to beat BC. You got to beat VT at home, Vatek, and then
Louisville away.
at Louisville away could be a great opportunity. They already have some really quality wins on the resume. Having a win on the road at Louisville would be unbelievable. Again, just comes down to poor execution, inconsistency. I keep saying it, but it's true. You know, Angel Rodriguez, not the greatest first half against Wake Forest. Second half, he looks like Russell Westbrook out there. I mean, if he can keep that momentum going consistently, this team's they're tough to beat. I mean, they can match up well, at least in the backcourt, with most teams in the country. And if Tanya can continue to rebound, that obviously helps them. He's a little skinny to bang with the bigs, but he definitely can get the blocks. He definitely can make an
Does a
impact.
great job staying vertical.
Yes, he does. That's true. He's gotten a lot better at that as he's progressed through his career. So Canes play Sunday at BC. Staying in the ACC, Spence, one of your favorite prospects, may not be a lottery pick, but just because he's a great player. Justin Anderson of UVA, out 4 to 6 weeks, just had finger surgery. UVA pulling out a tough one against NC State, but if you're a UVA fan, you got to be nervous right now.
I'm hoping he comes back as long as he's fine just in time for the NCAA tournament. I think they'll be fine, but you can't lose someone averaging 14, 4 rebounds, 3 assists on almost 50% shooting from 3.
He's nasty.
Yeah, no, he's great. I think he's going to be actually a better Martell Webster, and that's.
I like that
Martell
comparison.
Webster.
It's a great comparison.
Yeah, thank you.
I like that.
Thank you very much.
So it definitely, I think they've done enough to solidify themselves
Yeah, they're
in
going
the
to be
NCAA tournament.
Yeah, probably
but
1, 2, or 3 seed.
But you know what? Definitely just don't rush him back because that team can.
They're going to need him back.
They're gonna need him back.
To go
Don't rush
far.
him out.
Right.
If he's not ready by the ACC tournament, don't
No.
rush it. Wait until they go to the first round of the NCAA's.
Yeah.
Real quick, Spence, if you don't mind, just any surprising, last 4 in, first 4 out bracketology. Anything notable?
Last 4 in St. John's.
That's
it's
ridiculous.
Illinois, St. John's, UCLA, and Old Dominion. First 4 out: Boise State, Miami, Oregon, and Seton.
How is UCLA in? They're terrible.
No, it's UCLA. I mean USC.
Oh, USC. They're pretty
USC
bad
is a big
too.
guy. Their big guy's good. Second coming of Vucevic.
I don't.
Who also
Pac-12
went
is
to
weak
USC?
besides Stanford, Utah, and
It
Arizona.
was weak when he was there too. Now he's averaging
Yeah.
20 and 12.
Who knows?
But-
That's interesting. So he has St. John's in?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sir Dominic
He's great.
Pointer. No, he's great.
He's great, but like they've lost a lot of games that they should have won. I mean, I love Pointer. I love Lavin. I want the Johnnies to be in. I don't think the Johnnies deserve. If it comes down to Johnnies or Miami, I'm biased, but I think Miami has the better resume over St. John's, personally. That's just my opinion. This conference breakdown, Big 12 leading the way with the Big 10. A little switcheroo there. Both have 7 in there. It's going to be interesting. This is a crucial time. If you're in the bubble, this is a very stressful time. Some notable games for the weekend before we move on to our NFL segment. Baylor at Kansas. Again, probably best conference, Big 12. That's 1 p.m. on CBS.
Baylor's a team to watch. That
Baylor's
team
nasty.
is athletic.
That's
And
true.
The big guy, I forgot his name. Shout out to James, my friend who went to Baylor. He's actually been telling me about them. They're good.
Sleeper. They can surprise people. Great game to watch to see if they can take out the top dogs, the Big 12. Then at 4 p.m. ESPN2, another Big 12 matchup. West Virginia, 21st ranked Mountaineers, go to Iowa State. They're 14th in the nation. Like I said, 4 p.m. ESPN2. And then 2 great games in nightcap. Villanova, the 6th ranked Cats, go to Butler, 18th ranked Butler. That's 6 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. And then even though Cuse is not going to the postseason, there's a new rivalry basically between Duke and Cuse. The Blue Devils go to Syracuse, New York to take on Jim Boeheim's Orange at 6 p.m. on ESPN on Saturday night. Ton of great hoops going on. Definitely pay attention, but we got to talk NFL. Don't go anywhere.
Watch me scare Fred out of his pebbles.
Yo, Martians!
Delicious.
Barney!
Whoops. Gotta blast off.
Post Pebble cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast.
Couldn't have the pregame podcast also without the NFL. Like I mentioned, obviously season's over, but still plenty to talk about. First thing that I wanted to really discuss here, Tampa Bay Bucks releasing Josh McCown. So if there wasn't any, if people weren't convinced that they were going to take a quarterback with the first overall pick, now that's pretty much solidified it.
Well, I still have Glennon.
True, but I mean,
They don't like him.
who could be trade bait? He could be good for another team.
I like Mike Glenn a lot.
I think if you're the
Played well
Jets,
his rookie year.
Yeah.
he did. He's a good
And
quarterback.
He's got a great 6'6", 200-pound frame, big arm.
But so right now, and it's funny. So last month, we all were saying, all right, Mariota number 1.
Not me.
Now it's not you, but the consensus was Mariota's going 1, and now it's like, hold up, Winston is the clear number 1. It's like the Bucs are going to take Jameis Winston, and they're not going to bring in a veteran for him to learn under. He's going to start right away. So looking like Jameis Winston to Tampa will stay in the state of Florida. That's going to be really interesting. He's got Mike Evans at receiver. I'm not saying they're going to turn around right away, but I cannot wait to see Winston in the NFL. I think his on the field I'm not worried about. It's the shenanigans that he pulls off the field. Can he mature? I think it's good that he's in a smaller market. I think that's important.
How close is that to Florida State, though?
Tampa's like a 3-4 hour drive. It's not like you can just go there anytime. You know what I mean? So, but there's a big Florida State following in that west part of Florida. So I think that may be good for him to have that sort of feel like that at home thing.
Are crab legs any cheaper there?
Well, they're Publix all over Florida, so it's probably the same price.
Yeah, perfect.
So he could do that. Yeah. Whatever NFL team goes to, they're gonna have a babysitter on that guy everywhere he goes. I'm telling you, watch. They're gonna have a security following him everywhere. He's too much of a liability off the field. We were talking about Mariota in the draft, right? If you're the Jets, you have the 6th pick. Are you picking up the phone and immediately dialing Chip Kelly and say, hey, give me Foles, give me a pick, give me something. I'll give you Mariota.
See, even just to start with that, I'd be in shock if Mariota fell to 6.
So hypothetically, it could happen.
Who goes above them?
Because I feel like
Tennessee stick with Mettenberger.
Yeah,
Tennessee stays with Mettenberger.
Yeah, Tennessee stays, but they could really sell a smokescreen that they take Mariota too, and somebody
True, but they're saying that they're gonna.
Cleveland. I see Cleveland.
He's working out with their coaching coach.
But they're trusting everything Manziel. The guy's in rehab. They're feeling good about him.
The thing is here. This is what.
So hypothetically, do you call Chip right away? Be like, yo, here's Mariota. Show me your cards.
Because I think that the main thing that you got to see is the drop off from those first two quarterbacks to the rest of the quarterbacks. I mean, you go from Winston Mariota, which is legitimately 1A, 1B, to Hundley and Petty, which to me is like a fourth tier.
Exactly. So trade Mariota and get Foles.
I see. That's the thing. I think Foles is a completely system quarterback. I think that this year showed he has a lot of problems, a lot of shortcomings, and I think that Kelly's system really hides a lot of his flaws. I don't think that unless the Jets make a run at Demaryius Thomas, which is the news this year,
pairing with Decker. Pairing with Decker.
Which I think Decker was a terrible contract. Like, it's so Jets.
But
That's
true.
But I mean, Mariota really being able to buy time. I feel like
I kind of feel bad for the Jets.
I don't.
I kind of feel bad for the Jets.
No. I mean
those fans are crazy. They deserve. You know, like
I mean, that organization.
They need to get those guys a Super Bowl, man. Like I'm obviously a huge Giant fan, but get those Jet fans a Super Bowl. They deserve it.
Another one.
I mean, of course, but I'm not a Jet hater per se.
I am.
I mean,
I've been in so many fights with Jets fans. Like,
they're not as bad as Eagle fans.
Yeah,
that's for damn sure. All right, so you're not calling shit. You're gonna take if you're the Jets.
I think
you
the Jets.
take Mariota.
I think that the Jets have gone way too long with finally having a franchise
But you know what? It's like
quarterback.
they've been there. They picked Geno. It's like if Mariota doesn't work, McHagnon's done, and it sets the franchise back another 3 years.
But that's the thing. I really feel that I don't like Mariota over Winston, but I do feel Mariota still would be a competent top tier quarterback like Kaepernick. Kaepernick's my ideal comparison.
Yeah, I mean it's a good point.
And I love the top.
He's more accurate.
I love the Baumoehl.
Right.
That is an excellent hire.
Yeah, that's true.
So
another offseason story that I thought was interesting is the big dog Richie Incognito.
Bully.
The bully is back. Bully is back, but he's going to Buffalo. Can Rex Ryan tame the beast? Any thoughts on that? Anyone? Talk to me. The bully.
I think that
nobody likes bullies.
I mean, I think it was a good signing. He's a big dude. He's a great run blocking offensive lineman.
I thought you were going to say he's a good role model.
No, not really.
I thought you were going to say that. I was like, what?
And I mean, what does Rex do? Ground and pound, hardcore defense.
I mean, he fits for the system.
And they have no quarterback. So you know that maybe if they'd be able to sign all three backs back, it'd be a triple-headed monster. Yeah, exactly.
Is that a bad PR? You know the media.
So
you know the media is right. They're gonna blow us out of
This
proportion.
is America.
This is a bad PR thing.
Second chances. This is America. Second chances. And I think that honestly, I mean, the guy's been a year and a half out. This is his last shot. It's a 1 year deal for $900,000. Like, come on.
That could be a steal.
It's a steal.
That could be a steal.
Wait, it's the minimum? Is he being paid the minimum, or is it just
a tiny bit more?
Like, it's barely over the minimum.
I know the minimum deals are partially paid for by the league.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a low risk, high reward.
And he's cut.
Move.
First instant, he's cut.
You know, I think Rex is the type of coach that
let's hope we get him.
Players love playing for Rex.
Yeah.
So you know what? I think he can get Richie on his side for sure. We had discussed this a little bit earlier, but now it's like it's crunch time. Dallas Cowboys. You got Dez and you got DeMarco. It's not looking like you can keep them both.
They're not going to be able to.
So you got to go Dez, right?
You
got to stick with Dez.
Got to go Dez, especially as such an injury-prone back like DeMarco that runs upright too. So he's going to be injured.
Is DeMarco's a system guy?
He's a system guy.
I don't think he's a system guy.
You don't think he's a system guy?
No, he's
was this a fluke?
No, I don't think he's a fluke, but I think that when he was first drafted, he had a lot of talent. I think injuries took a toll on him. And I don't think that he's as
He's very
good
injury prone. That's a huge question mark going forward.
But I think he's lost a lot of top speed. At Oklahoma, he was a flyer. An absolute flyer.
Dude, Oklahoma is like him, AP,
he's got a great
running back.
Great running back division,
He's pounding.
Did you hear what he said? He's like, he doesn't care about... he cares about championships, not about rushing yards. People are like, oh, it's such a good thing. He'll re-sign with the Cowboys. He didn't say, I don't care about money.
Right. No,
he wants to get paid.
The main problem here is the role.
I think he deserves to get paid. He had a hell of a year. I mean, as a big Giant fan, I want him out of the division. Get out of the division. Go anywhere. Just get out of the division.
Thank God for that Roma contract.
Yeah. But so it's looking like Dez will stay, and obviously he'll get paid. Talking about our Giants, that was very interesting. I like the move, signing probably the top Canadian Football League offensive lineman Brett Jones, which, you can't go wrong there, right? I mean, you got to build up offensive line, a clear problem for that team. Does that mean, Abdul, first round pick, number 9, we're not going O-line? Or do you still stick with that O-line pick and you just stack it up?
See, Giants fans, I think we know this by now, we don't pick for need.
It's best available.
BPA.
It worked with ODB.
I pray to God that Dante Fowler Jr. falls to us because he's the.
You think he'll fall there?
I don't think so because his stock's exploding, but he is the most violent defensive end I've seen in maybe
Well,
the past
that would help us.
Right.
I think. Listen.
Imagine him and JPP.
Oh my God.
Well, if JPP stays, I mean, it's looking like he will.
have to franchise.
Looking like Roll probably won't, unfortunately. Which that makes me upset. But I mean, he is getting a little bit older. Real quick, obviously, as it gets closer to the draft, we will have plenty of draft coverage. We'll talk about scenarios, but just trying to get everything talked about here. Obviously, there's a lot going on. Ray Farmer, the GM of the Browns, texting plays during the game. I mean, you're not allowed to do that, but like, you hire the coaches for a reason, buddy. Like, you're not a great GM, so I don't want you telling me what play to run. I don't care what your background is. I mean, is this guy an idiot? Like, how does he think that it's not going to get into the media? Like, some of these GMs and coaches, man, I'm telling you, like they don't think about the consequences. He's just making himself like a fool. And just exactly what the Cleveland Browns need. Just more clowns just running that organization.
Great fans.
So
sad.
I want to end this conversation with: will Marshawn Lynch be a Seattle Seahawk next year?
Yeah. Yes. So that way he turns down $7 million.
Yeah.
Could Oakland? I'm reading Oakland is going to come in and maybe try to be aggressive with this.
Who knows? I mean, they have like $50 million in cap space, but I think that their number one goal is Sue.
Right.
So I think Marshawn wants to win though too.
Yeah, and Marshawn wants to
win. Sue on the Raiders, how
Sue wants to play for the Seahawks.
Sue would be like just that fan base for the Raiders. Like that would just be a match made in heaven.
He wants Seattle.
They can't. I don't think
they can't afford it.
Well, because they got to pay Wilson, right? I mean, they had the luxury of paying Russell Wilson his rookie contract, and now it's like, that's not going to last anymore. So, you guys are pretty confident Lynch stays in Seattle. Beast mode staying in the headquarters of Starbucks and the hipsters. That's
He's just there to do his job.
Yeah. You know what?
And to not get fined.
Just don't get fined and eat your Skittles. We're going to stick with football on our next segment, but exclusively talking Miami football. What in the world is going on in Coral Gables? Stay with us.
Sidewinder, the wheels twist behind her.
Yahoo! Try and catch me.
It's the big new Sidewinder cycle. Your parents put it together, and Sidewinder's got the stunt shifter.
Sidewinder.
With sure grip steering, super sleek styling, and a stunt shifter that can spin you into excitement.
Sidewinder, the wheels twist behind her.
Sidewinder cycle with stunt shifter. New from Tonka.
We now return to The Amazing Spider-Man and the Incredible Hulk.
I mean, any Hurricane fan who listens to this podcast, we're all frustrated about the season, the coaching, the player performance, the results of signing day, but we continue to be NFLU in the sense where we always seem to have the best prospects, even if we're a mediocre team on the gridiron. According to Mel Kiper, now obviously things can change at any moment. Obviously the combine's still coming up, but right now there are 3 Miami Hurricanes going in the first round, according to Mel Kiper. That's more than any other Division I school, and that's from a sub 500 program. Abdul, break it down, and what are your thoughts?
Well, Kiper said it was Flowers, Pearlman, and Dorsett. And I think that, the thing about them is that all 3 of them do have a lot of natural talent, especially I love Flowers, especially,
He's a big dude.
Big dude, but balance is his number one thing. Great pass blocker. Dorsett can absolutely fly. I think he's destined to run like a 4.33, and Pearlman's an absolute tackling machine. So I think that, I do like Flowers as a first rounder. Like Pearlman and Dorsett are more second round guys to me.
You think early second?
Early second. Dorsett tore apart Senior Bowl week, though. Absolutely tore apart.
I mean, that's what put him. That's exactly what Kiper said. Yeah. Puppy Chow joining us here. Kevin Chow, obviously, also another graduate of the U. Do you agree? Do you think these guys are first rounders? And why all of a sudden are we talking about Dorsett? Like, where was Dorsett's production this year? And do you think that is more evidence that Golden just isn't coaching his players to his ability?
Well, these players could be first-round players, but I don't really know. We'll see what the GMs have to say. But let me tell you this. The player development that Golden's been doing, Swayze with the strength training, I think he's been doing a pretty good job building and developing his players. But the in-game decisions, that's lacking.
That's true. That's actually a great point.
Do you think it's the coordinators, or do you think it's the head coach? What do you think?
That's a great question. I mean, I think we all agree that D'Onofrio is garbage.
He needs to go.
He needs to go immediately. I mean, just this week, Brendan Carroll leaving. He's going to go play with coach with Daddy up in Seattle.
Yep.
And then we lost the D-line coach to the Raiders. So two coaches who weren't even. I mean, Carroll was the recruiting coordinator, but they weren't coordinators. They were just assistant coaches. They're going to the NFL.
But Carroll was huge recruiting.
Right, he was.
Huge.
To answer your question, I think it's a combination of everything. I think we'd all agree that D'Onofrio's garbage. I think
that's fair.
Coley can recruit, but
is it garbage?
He can't call a game. So you're absolutely right. I think the player development is great. They can go in there and say, look at the guys we produce in the NFL. We will make you a better player. You will be NFL ready. Yeah. But you're not gonna win a bowl game. Right now, you're not gonna win a bowl game. I hate to say this, but thank God for Brad Kaya.
Yeah.
Because Kaya, if it weren't for Kaya, who knows what this team would be doing next year? I've heard the schedule's out already. I've heard people say 8-4, which would be great.
Every year I've heard.
Every year people are saying 8-4.
Every year, 9-3.
I've heard 9-3. I've heard 2-10. I've heard it all.
It's all over the place.
But ultimately, I definitely think Flowers. I think we all agree that Flowers will be a first-round pick, maybe even top 10, maybe even a New York Giant. We'll see. That would be awesome. Being Miami guys, it'd be cool to see him on the Giants. But Dorsett solely just because of the fact that he's had a great Senior Bowl, and Pearlman, he's a monster.
Yeah.
I think ultimately all three guys will have an impact on NFL teams. But what's interesting, there's an article in the Miami Herald. Yes, I still read the Herald. You gotta make sure you're staying up to date with all the football news down there. Initially, a lot of the guys were saying, listen, Miami didn't have a good class because there's so much negativity going on in the program. I mean, everywhere you go on Twitter, everyone's bashing for good reason. For good reason, but
flying banners.
Yeah, and even our own fraternity brothers, Kyle Duncan and Chris Longfield, with the Fire Golden sign at the basketball game. That's their huge ruckus. We're gonna try to get them on the show in the future. They're gonna tell their side of the story, but that caused a huge uproar. And then Blake James gets involved, saying, "Oh, well, there's no signs allowed at the Buck." Meanwhile, there's signs everywhere. I've worked at the Buck 4 years. There are signs that are allowed to be at that arena. So, ton of negativity going on in the program. But then the high school coach is saying, "You know what? It has nothing to do with the negativity. It all comes down to the coaching and the results." And it's that simple. The top receiver, I forgot his name, that committed to Bama is a South Florida guy.
Calvin Ridley.
He initially was a Kings
and Sean Burgess-Becker too.
Both of them go to Alabama. And it's can you blame them? I can't blame them. I mean, they walk on they go to Tuscaloosa. Saban just shows him his national title race.
Yeah.
He didn't have to say anything. The Canes have 5 national titles, but Golden can't show that. They were committed. They were going to the U.
I think,
and they're not.
I think, frankly, also it just shows a big example of that. I think that a lot of these guys, we recruit guys who have a lot of talent, but I don't think that the coaching development is that great. Because Sean Henderson is a massive example, a 7th round guy who's a 5-star coming out of high school who was terrible during college.
I mean, he just. The problem with him was he smoked way too much weed.
No, and also
that's
true. That's true. But it's
that
also
is true.
But can we say how many college football guys actually do that? I mean, what, 9%?
Yeah, but it got to the point where
that's sheer motivation
right.
to me.
No,
and
you're right.
Sheer lack
of
motivation from a coaching staff.
I mean, it got to the point where other people were taking his urine tests. I mean, that's how bad it got for him. And that's a fact.
But he was
by the
an
way. That's a true
absolute
story.
monster this year.
Oh, and you know what? And that was a steal for the Bills. 100%.
Yeah.
Puppy Chow, what's interesting? They only got one top South Florida guy of I think one or two.
25,
yeah,
one off top 25.
That's
ridiculous.
That's unheard of. When you watch the U documentary, they show about the state of Miami, right? They rope off all from Daytona down to Tampa down to Miami, and now they have more recruits from Jersey. And I'm not saying the talent's bad there, but Is that?
No, come on, Jersey is
they're
not. It's not.
They're not. That's not the
It's not
U.
the same.
No.
Well, the thing that you have to ask yourself is, are we running the right system for the players in South Florida?
And that the answer is no.
Yep. No.
We're not.
It's clear.
We're
It's
trying to
clearly
run
not.
a Big 12,
Yep.
Big 10,
Yep.
ground and pound,
Yep.
strength. That's
Yeah.
not what the talent that we have down in South Florida.
Hey, Golden, we're not at Temple anymore, bro. This isn't the Atlantic 10 or whatever conference
It's
they're in.
honestly
Or
even
the American.
like just like I was saying, like it's like we run a 3-4 when like the staple of Miami was attacking 4-3 with, and like we run every. I don't think there's a single South Florida high school team that runs a pro style.
Yeah.
Why don't we run a spread? Well, these guys could come in like that.
Right. They're all gonna want to go there.
Yeah.
They all love the U.
Can you imagine a spread at Miami with that town? Can you imagine Dorset in a spread?
Kai in a
Foley
spread would be great
Kai
too.
in a spread.
He needs to adjust to the times.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, if things are mediocre again, he may be. He's they're gonna can him mid-season.
Exactly.
I think they should. I think they 100% should. And I wanted to believe in Golden. I like the positive when he came in. He handled the scandals well. He brought a positivity to the program. At the end of the day, it's like,
is this Randy Shannon 2.0?
It's exactly. Yeah. It's like, would we be having this conversation if we beat Florida State?
Yeah.
If we beat UVA? If we beat Pittsburgh? 3 games we clearly should have won.
The Pittsburgh loss.
That was the worst.
Pathetic.
If this was any other school, that loss, he would have been fired. You know what?
You could look at Florida with Muschamp.
Yeah.
Muschamp went 11-2,
Right.
and then got fired like a year and a half later.
And you know what? It's only going to get more difficult.
Yep.
Because guess what? Harbaugh back in the scene.
Yep.
You know what? Yes, Big Ten different conference, but you don't think he's going to try to get
Michigan,
those guys?
Yep.
Urban Meyer, he's got another ring to add to his resume.
Yep.
You don't think that's going to hurt him? Florida
with McCallaway,
and they got Randy Shannon for recruiting purposes.
And FSU's rolling
FSU's destroyed everybody went there. Clemson.
Yep.
I mean, it's only gonna get more difficult, and I'm in panic mode.
You know what's actually going to be a small one too is actually the Notre Dame reach to South Florida.
Right.
With the ACC.
Right.
That's going to be a reach
brutal.
too. It's going to be bad because Notre Dame are really coming, and they run a spread too. I like Malik Zaire coming up this year too.
They literally, it's like they're doing everything. The Canes coaching staff's doing everything
to become a Nebraska.
Exactly. They're doing everything that Schnellenberger, Jimmy Johnson didn't do.
It's sad, really.
It really is, and you have guys like Michael Irvin's son. I don't even think's going to Miami anymore.
No. He committed to.
Forgot where it was.
Somewhere else. Yeah.
Like, who loves the U more than Michael Irvin? I can't think of too many people. I mean,
it's sad that you think that someone like Michael Irvin would be in his son's ear, but he go, you have to go. But he just like
because you know what? You're not going to succeed there.
Yeah.
But Michael Irvin did come out and support Al Golden though in a recent video.
Right.
I don't know if you guys saw
That's true.
So we'll give him another few months, but if he's not producing, that's it.
Yeah. He has to go, and it's going to affect. It's going to affect the school, the whole school. Yeah. Like I'm thinking outside the box here, but like there was so much momentum going on at the U, right? Like basketball was going well. The school academically rankings were going up. More, all these on-campus things getting built. It's like there was so much momentum at the U. Imagine
a good UM football.
A good football.
Not
team.
even a great one, just a good one that's competitive.
That's going to good bowl games.
Yep.
and winning these big games. I mean, it's sad, but obviously we're biased, so we're going to cover this team a lot in the offseason and during the season. But this is just one of many, many, many Miami football talks that we'll have. But just to put things in perspective, it's not the negativity, it's the coaching. And the fact that we could potentially have more first-rounders than any other school is just another example of the talent we can get, but the end result isn't there. It's just not there. Stay with us.
Fruit Corners Fruit Roll-Ups. Real fruit and fun rolled up in one.
You can peel them, you can poke them. Fruit Corners! You can tear them, you can share them. Fruit Roll-Ups! You can rock them, you can roll them. You can really get to know them.
Fruit Corners Fruit Roll-Ups are the chewy snacks made with real fruit that you unroll, peel, and chew.
You can stretch them, you can chew them. Fruit Corners! You can pass them, you can ooh them. Fruit Roll-Ups!
Fruit Corners Fruit Roll-Ups, now in great tasting grape.
Just like we have the past 5 episodes, we're going to conclude episode 6 with our ever-famous personality segment. Only 3 of us today, but Spence is going to lead it off with Carmelo Anthony. Mello, what's up, bro?
Nothing much. I'm just resting my back, my knee, basically every other body part because I've been carrying the Knicks like Atlas carries the world. I want to apologize to the Knicks fans. It's been a rough season, but we have a bright future ahead. We're going to get a good draft pick, get a lot of cap space. I know a bunch of you guys haven't been happy with me because when I play, we actually win games once in a while. But as a professional athlete, it's incredibly hard to sit out game after game when like your teammates are out there losing and you can help them. Just sucky situation to be in. But it should be pretty nice just sitting on the bench, relaxing, rehabbing, and getting paid for doing nothing. So I guess there's a silver lining. And next year and the future, but we'll be back. We'll be back.
The target's on your back.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Don't forget that. We also have A-Rod in the house. A-Rod, what's up, bro?
I learned a new word this week.
What'd you learn?
Sorry.
What are you sorry about?
I've never said it. I know I didn't know that word.
What's bothering you, man?
I really look back on my career. It's winding down, and I really think that I've made some actual mistakes, and I believe that I have to make amends.
I think you're a good baseball player.
And I think I'm a beast. I think I'm 6'3", 225. Still got a lot of power left. And I think that I'm in the best shape of my career according to reports, which I would know about myself.
Yes.
I'm in the best shape.
Can you confirm that?
I can confirm that.
All right, nice.
And
I'm not a Yankee fan.
I'm ready for spring training, and I think that I'm going to be in a position where I don't have to play every day because I got chased there already.
You got the DH.
I got the DH all up to myself.
Chill.
So, the only thing I'm a tiny bit worried about, my bonus money maybe going away. I still care about my money.
Yeah, because your management team hates you.
Yeah,
right?
Since I still care about my money.
They hate you. Everyone hates you. How does that everyone hates you?
It's because I'm biracial and rich, bro.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's right.
Even the University of Miami hates you.
I know, right? I paid for the
and their freaking stadium's named after you. By the way, why did you have to give them that money at that time? Between Ryan Braun, between the football scandal, could you have done it a little bit earlier?
I love attention. Just like why I opted out in the World Series too. I love attention.
In the ALCS when you slap the ball out of his head.
I love that.
What the thing is though, you are a baseball guy. At the end of the day, you're all about baseball, and I think the media gives you a hard time. People who have played with you will openly say, A-Rod is the most intense teammate I've ever had.
Yep.
He is all about baseball. He's all about winning. So you know what? I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yep. I just think that...
Apology accepted. I'm not even a Yankee fan, and I accept your apology.
There you go.
I think you're going to have I honestly think you have a monster year.
I think so, too.
And I think you're going to be holding up your middle finger to everyone, honestly.
Especially the Post.
Especially the Post. Everybody hates you. People hate me, too. I'm Tiger Woods.
Who hates you more, me or you?
I don't know. I think we're the most. You and I are the most controversial athletes in the tabloids for sure. We both like to, I don't know, for lack of a better term, sleep around. I guess. Listen, at the end of the day, my decline in golf, not just in golf history, but in sports history, I don't think anybody has ever seen more of an individual decline in someone's career than what I've been going through in the past, 2 or 3 years. I've decided to hang it up for the year because I have a lot of work to do. Yes, I, Tiger Woods, have a lot of work to do on my golf game. I feel bad for all the other golfers out there who think they're good because if I need a lot of work, they need a lot of work too. I don't know what I have to do. I think it's all mental with me. I really do. Ever since I was caught with my sex addiction, I'm just going to go out and say it, I haven't been the same player. How am I going to fix that? I don't know. Some say, you know what, Tiger, you got to go back to your old ways. I'm a new person. But really, it's sad.
I think you should get in touch with Warren Sapp and Greg Anthony.
Yeah, you know what? I'm afraid I'm going to go down that path. I'm only 39 years old. I mean, we've seen guys play professional golf well into their 40s and 50s, even early 60s. But
I think you've got a lot of hooker years left.
I don't think I'll ever be the same player ever again. And the funny thing is, I've hired 5 swing coaches in the past 5 years. I can't remember. There could be less, but could you imagine me 15 years ago getting a swing coach. I'm Tiger Woods. I'm Tiger freaking Woods. But let me tell you, I'm worried, and my fans should be worried too. Well, I think Melo, A-Rod, and Tiger are probably the three. Oh yeah. Sorry, we have to give a quick shout out to our executive producer, Joshua Dudley, Baumoehl, Spence.
For the third week in a row, he has continued to impress us. He knows why.
We all know why.
Yeah. He's doing a good job being himself.
Beast.
Yeah.
Beast mode. He's him and Marshawn Lynch, bro. Beast mode.
Yeah.
So much.
Shout out to Dudley.
Doing a great job as executive producer.
Keeping us all entertained.
No, I could have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Puppy Chow, thanks for joining us, man. Always good to have you here. He's in New York. He's loving life right now. He was in Phoenix a couple days ago, and he went from 80-degree weather to 6 degrees this morning. Like, that sucks. You should have stayed out in Phoenix, bro. No, happy to have you here. Glad you are here. Tambor, we missed you. You're probably on that date. You are currently at dinner.
What do you think he's talking about now?
He's probably talking about. I wasn't kidding. I think he'll talk about that marinade he made with this chicken. I swear to God, he makes a hell of a marinade. By the way, you ever grilled? Remember we grilled with a giant?
Oh my God,
folks! This guy for a tailgate goes all out. It's not just basic, dogs and burgers. This guy's like, no. I'm gonna go top chef on you for this ball game. It was great. And actually, they won that game.
I know.
That was when they beat.
Odell had 4.
Yeah, that's when they beat the Redskins. And I'm gonna give Tambor credit for that. You know what? Like ODB, Tambor's cooking helped ODB. Yeah. ODB didn't even eat his cooking, but we ate it, and ODB recognized that. It empowered ODB to have a good game. Let us know how that date goes. It's Valentine's Day tomorrow. Shout out to those celebrating. Interesting movie coming out tomorrow.
It actually came out last night.
Oh, sorry. Came out last night.
I don't even know what to say about it.
Yeah. It's just, who knows?
Gotcha.
That was Spencer, not me. All right. Valentine's Day weekend, a long weekend actually. It's President's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy President's Day. Happy All-Star Weekend. And if you're a college hoops fan, hopefully if your team is on the bubble like mine is, you'll get that win. Thanks again for joining us on episode 6. Come back and watch us, or listen to us rather, next week. Thanks a lot.